Lynn. Memorial League. Week 5. Power Ranking. Brought to you by Seavers Corn Maze. Come check us out. Stand in a field of Carson Wentz's. After all, he's nothing but a giant corn cob. Sorry for taking a few weeks off and being a day late. Games have already started for week 6. But you know what? I do what I can. And be lucky you got more than 2 this year. Be thankful. All right, let's take a look. We're going to jump right into it. Here's what the league thinks. And you know what? Starting to think they might be onto something. Maybe I just mailed it in. Maybe I just went with this. You'll find out here momentarily. But things are starting to take shape. We have some fraudulent teams. We have some teams that have had some bad luck. And some that are somewhere in between. Here are the standings. Yesterday's Corn might be running away with the division, even without Lamar. Everyone else, it's pretty close. Scoreboard from last week. MVP Power dismantled hapless Movathrill 76-47. Yesterday's Corn by just a few kernels over Stern Rake 67-64. Juchi's Giant Jocks is not afraid of a little fratricide, defeating Homies 54-52. Tommy's Terminators explodes for 77 points over Tuckfest 77-57. Stuntcock makes a return trip to the Butchers. Chooses a juicy salami. Slices it up. Crackers and cheese all day. A wonderful charcuterie board enjoyed over Chasing Burrow. Nice name, not 83-71. And finally, Team Mangravy managed to fill up the cup and deliver a specimen over Senior Ass 68-63. League average 65 points. I think that's our highest scoring week. Are gonna get right into it. All right, let's take a look at the Basement Dwellers. Team Mangrave. I know you got off the schneid and finally got a win, but I think this team is firing blanks, and you should just trade away your assets and live to fight another day, because you ain't knocking anybody up with that sauce. Number 11, Homies. Am I being harsh? You're 3-2, but you've barely scored any points. Luckiest team in the league so far. Derrick Henry's not going to get done. Neighbors is hurt. Daniels is going through a sophomore slump. It's hard for me to understand where the points are coming from, especially when you have almost no lineup flexibility and no depth at wide receiver. Number 10, Movathrill. Dave, I hate to do this to you, but you've fallen victim to one of the classic blunders. You drafted 3 Raiders. That's too many Raiders. You should have less Raiders on your team. Now, I understand that Bowers is hurt, and that's hurting you, but Genty plus Jacoby plus Brock, that's too many Raiders. You're allowed 1 Raider. You have too many Raiders. That's why your team sucks. Number 9, Chasing Burrow. Nice name. Actually, I think this team's pretty good. You're only 1 wide receiver away from actually being good, and even in spite of that, you should trade me Trey McBride. Big hit on Cam Scatabo. Scatabo? Anyway, he scores touchdowns. He's gonna definitely have CTE by the end of the year, but he scores touchdowns. Number 8, Tommy's Terminators. Again, high scoring week. It's just hard for me to see this happening week in and week out. This week it was Rico Dowdell and Dowdell. Javonte Williams had another pretty decent game, but like it just doesn't seem repeatable to me, and that's why I have a hard time buying in. Number 7, Stern Rake. 2 big injuries at running back between Amarian Hampton and James Conner. Limits your flexibility. You did get through the Bucky Irving. Was Bucky Irving? He was just hurt. They haven't had their bye yet. So like your lineup flexibility the rest of the season kind of sucks. So that's why I've got you at 7. Number 6, Stunt Cock. I'm scoring points. I now don't have a tight end. Brenton Strange on IR for at least 4 weeks, and Colson Loveland has done nothing so far. So I'm kind of screwed trying to make a trade, but you guys keep turning me down. Number 5, Senior Ass. Unlucky. This team's scoring a lot of points. Been unlucky, but you need to win this week. You can't fall to 2 and 4. Number 4, Talk Fast. This just comes down to whether or not the Eagles have a good week. If they have a good week, your team does fairly well. If they don't, you're kind of screwed. And then is Christian McCaffrey going to remain healthy? It is a deeper team than you've had in the past. And so thus the high ranking. I think this team makes the playoffs, but it's going to be living and dying by that Nick Sirianni, the fighting Nick Siriannis. All right, number 3, MVP power. Is this your all-time high in the power rankings this late into the season? Perhaps. Drafted really well. Egbuka and Warren are certified hits. I think Tet McMillan might be too. So not only is your team good this year, but you're set up to have a good future as well. And even like guys on bad teams like Von Atchain getting it done, scoring points. All right, number 2, yesterday's corn. Putting you up here just because of the record and the pedigree. But Barkley's only averaging 3 yards per carry this year. Did he touch the ball too many times last year? And then Lamar's hurt. So is it all are the wheels about to come off? Maybe, maybe not. And number 1, Juchi's robust gentleman. I didn't mean to skip ahead. Too deep at every spot. I know you haven't blown the doors out in terms of points scored, but the record's good, and I see a deep team, and that's even with like a lot of points on the bench. So the points scored in the lineup haven't been awesome. Getting the wins, and then there's a bunch of bench points, which shows me this is a deep team, and probably deserving of that number 1 spot. All right, let's get into some predictions. Senior Ass. Not afraid of Dave and all his Raiders. 66-55. Yesterday's corn has a little left over in the bowl for Team Mangravy, who does not. 61-44. Stern Rake by just a tip over Homies. 59-58. Juchi's Giant Jock says, too bad, Dad. 81-62 over Tommy's Terminators. Chasing Burrow, nice name, not. Stays hot, defeating MVP Power. 69, nice, to 67. And finally, Chuck Fest. He watched the Ed Gein show on Netflix and got aroused, and it fueled him to victory over Stunt Cock. 63-58. All right, that's your rankings. That's how I see it. That's what I think is going to happen. Good luck to everybody this week except Justin. I hope your team actually doesn't put any lotion in any baskets and doesn't turn anyone into a lampshade or anything weird like that. You sicko. All right. Bye-bye.